figure it out as we go. What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Dandada, aka Chef. I have the man, the myth, the legend, Darren, Mr. Fourth Line Voice, aka Bruised and Battered. And if I was talking to my son, we went on a little walk before I got home, and I was like, if there's an encyclopedia for hockey, it's got to be called Darren's Encyclopedia, right? This man, what he'll forget, nobody else will ever know. That's the kind of knowledge that this man has in the hockey industry. Just facts. So, like, if there's a hockey Jesus, it's the testament is written about you.
Well, I appreciate the introduction. You read that just like I wrote it, and I'm excited to be on the Bare Knuckle Mob here. Here we go. I mean, you're out there, Chef. I tell you, the word's out on the street. Man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, every woman's pet, every man's regret. That's what I heard. So here we are.
And I'm not trying to make this a fluff show. I'm going to give all the props that it is, because we talk cultural stuff. Like when I talk to you all the time. A lot of people obviously don't know because we talk. I didn't understand how certain guys don't talk shit like that. And I remember I'm early into it, and you're kind of telling me, look, like, hockey's a sport where you let the game do the talking for you. So you always give me gems. So I listen to it. And getting into this, I was like, man, I don't know these brothers. You're feeding me information. So it was like so dope to have this kind of knowledge coming. And you just like embraced me into this hockey that I always appreciated. Like, and that's just me being honest.
No, I absolutely appreciate that. And it's hockey is definitely, well, being an old man now, I mine's a little more old school culture, but I mean, that's what I grew up in. But and things have obviously changed, and generationally, I mean, mindsets have changed and everything else. But at the end of the day, I think as far as like the major sports go and everything else, with hockey, there's a certain kind of hockey guys don't you're not going to get a lot out of them. They're pretty it's like the old saying, right? To keep the shit in the room. It doesn't leave the room, and it's just like, they handle stuff themselves, and you're not going to get a real, like, you just think back in the day, right? Like the Gretzky's, the Ovechkin, or the Sidney Crosby's, Connor McDavid's. They're not loud personalities. You're not getting Keyshawn Johnson in the NHL, right? Like, there's a few like, you'll get a Sean Avery, guys like that. A couple, there's Matt Barnaby. I mean, there's always guys that'll, that are out there and outgoing. PK Subban, guys like that. But I mean, overall, for the most part, the hockey guys are pretty dialed down and kind of just handle their business and don't really say too much. So yeah,
I think my first question I got to ask you is the typical question that I would ask anybody that played hockey. Coming up, growing up, what was it that got you to, I really want to play hockey? Was it the accessibility? Was it a player you had watched or listened to on the radio?
Well, it's interesting. I always tell everybody, like, despite, like, we grew up two houses in from the playground, and on the playground we had a rink. Most elementary schools all have rinks on them here in Saskatchewan, but for the most part. And we had one right there. So I grew up on the rink, but that was the thing. I was never really a great hockey player. I just, I played with buddies and friends and had fun with it, but no, I never had my brother got the hockey. My younger brother got the hockey talent. He played junior in college and stuff like that. But I was never a big hockey. Played for fun and played with the boys, but, and we'd shoot the puck around. But no, I never really, for some reason, I never took to hockey. And then kind of when I got older, grade 7, 8 in high school, at that point, I was always sort of like, I missed my opportunity, right? Because now by that point, you're too far behind, in terms of ability. So it was just like, whatever. No, oddly enough, especially growing up in Western Canada when it's winter for half the year, I was a much better baseball player than I ever was a hockey player, and which was odd, So I went a lot further in baseball than I ever did in hockey for sure. But I was always grew up in the sport, and that was the other thing. Like, my dad was a really good hockey player, played junior back in his day, and then of course my brother and stuff. And like I said, friends and so I grew up in the culture, but it was just, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Maybe when I was really young, I instead of going to 7 a.m. practice on a Saturday, I wanted to eat cereal and watch G.I. Joe, I guess, on TV. Maybe, I guess, when I was younger. So
Transformers.
And I kick myself for it now, because I said, I wish I had played and taken it a lot more serious, but I always appreciated the culture. Like I said, growing up, I knew guys in it and played junior, and I was always around it. And like a bunch of my friends went on, played junior, played them professionally, minor league hockey and stuff. And so I was just always around. And I don't know, just growing up in a sporting family, you always just kind of, because regardless of the sport, you know how it is, right? It's like a locker room, dugout, what dressing room, it doesn't matter. It's the boys. There's a culture to it, and you grew up in that culture. And every sport has their unwritten rules and things you just learn on the way. And outsiders don't know them. Well, that's why they were called unwritten rules. And that's a problem now. I think people, I always say nowadays, these couch fans, these fair weather fans, I always say they know enough to be dangerous, but yeah, they don't really know unless you've done it or been involved in it or in it. You don't know, and you got far too many people guessing, and it's so, or they think they know and they have an opinion on it. Well, everybody's got an opinion on everything these days, but
everybody's got an opinion, but they get sensitive about everything.
Oh, well, they don't like when they get called out on their bullshit. It's like, and then they get talked to someone that actually has knowledge. And as soon as you present them with facts or knowledge, they don't like that shit. Because I mean, it's always said. It's like, yeah, it's just whatever. But no, and it's so yeah. So it's been an interesting journey, and like I said, so I've kind of been an outsider to hockey, but I've been in hockey, and I kind of I've been around it, and just. So, and that's why I always said I've certainly never claimed to be an expert or anything like that, but I just and if I'm not sure about something, I can pick up a phone and make a call to someone that does know and ask their opinion. And am I on the right track here? Like thinking this way? And they're like, yeah, or else they'll be like, no, you're full of shit. This is why. And it's like, all right, okay, point taken. And I'm not like I said, I'm not going to argue with them.
Yeah.
That's the thing with these fans. And I mean, that's the great thing with social media. You have all these people talking, but it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you can, just because you watch hockey or you've watched it your whole life, well, okay, but that doesn't make you an expert. So I told the one guy, I said, just because you've driven 1,000,000 miles doesn't make you a mechanic. So, you can watch all the hockey you want. Have you ever taken a face off with 20 seconds left in your end? No. Well, then so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? And it's like same thing when it comes to fighting. You ever stood on skates and tried to fight somebody? No. Well, then you don't really know. I mean, we've all been in fights. I finished third a bunch of times, but but if you stood on skates and done it, that's a whole different thing now. And I see some of these guys yapping about Ice Wars guys and all the dude, they're on blades this thin, like on a slippery surface. This isn't a street fight in the in the backyard of the dollar in the back alley behind the Dollar General at 2 a.m. Like it's completely different.
See, and it's funny you said that because we actually did a show, and he's a pretty tough guy. I've seen him in a lot of fights, and we were like, bro, I wouldn't even know how would you even stand comfortably to fight on skates, right? Like, this is something that hockey players do. But and you said you got into baseball. So what made you say, all right, maybe I'm not going to do the hockey, but I'll take my time and not watch, G.I. Joe at 9 a.m. to go play baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I don't know why I gravitated to it. Maybe I had success pretty early, and I was like, again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but toot. But it was but no, I guess I was just sort of, I had success with it early. And I think with hockey, there's so much work that goes into it, like with the skating and everything. So I put on skates and I couldn't do it right away. So I got pissed off and I wouldn't do it, right? Like my parents would put me in power skating to learn how to, and I got mad. I didn't want to do it because I wasn't, like, I'm looking around and like there's kids better than me. and it's bugging me, right? And I can't, and I'm trying, but I didn't want to put the work in, So I think, and with baseball, it was like just right away I had hand-eye, I could hit, and then I could, whatever, and all of a sudden I'm hitting it further than everyone else. So it's like, oh, I am good at this, right? And you get success, so you sort of stick with it, right?
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, like I said, I just gravitated to it. But it was no, and like I said, I wish, and I guess on one hand, I'm thankful like my parents weren't the hockey parents, right? Like, you're doing this, and then you do it, but you almost revolt against them about it, right? So they didn't do that. A part of me kind of wishes they had, because then I would have played, right? But taken it more serious. But no, like I said, but I think my poor brother, he didn't have a choice at that point. Like, it's like, well, he doesn't want to do it, you're going to do it. So the old man was getting a hockey player. So
it was going to be one way or the other.
Yeah, but and him and my brother, because it would be funny. Like, my brother would be playing, and Dad would be at one end of the rink watching, and my mom would be at the other rink, because according to my mom, he could do no wrong, and to my dad, he couldn't do any right. So, yeah. But no, he ended up, like I said, he played junior in college and had a really good career out of it. So
now, when you played baseball, what was your number? Because I'm a number guy, right? Like, I'm big into numbers.
Yeah, well, I can tell you. Well, when you're first growing up, you're just, whatever, I get a jersey. But when I really started playing baseball, and it was always just, this fits you, here, take it, right? Well, okay, you had a jersey. But the first time we got like, okay, it's your jersey, what number does everybody want? Well, by that time, I was probably about, I'm going to really date myself. It was about 1985, so I would have been about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. And I'll tell you, who had just come on the scene? Jose Canseco.
Wow.
And he was my all-time favorite player. So I wore 33 my whole life. I wore 33. And Jose was my guy with the A's, and him and Mark McGuire, the Bash brothers, they became, the late 80s, that was right.
Oh, yeah.
And like great. That was like the whole thing. And like, you see Canseco now, he's goofy as shit, that guy. But back then, I just gravitated to him because he looked like a superhero. Big jacked. Oh, we all know why he was jacked up, obviously. But at the time, nobody looked like him. Like, it was just look at the size of this guy, right? Yeah, and of course, I always liked wrestling and comic books, so I was like the big jacked up superhero looking guy. And then he hit it a million miles.
Oh yeah,
like he hit it further than everybody else. So it was like, oh yeah, that's my favorite guy. And then every year in the summer, for summer holidays, as a family, we'd go visit my grandma in British Columbia, and we'd cross the border into Washington, go to Seattle Mariner games. And every year we were there, Oakland was there. So I got to see Canseco and McGuire in Oakland, and Ricky Henderson and like the prime age. And I'm dragging my poor mom, and my dad was into it, but my mom's just like, oh my God. But we got to go super early because we got to see batting practice. So we go watch batting practice, watch Canseco just 500 feet, just dropping bombs. And we're just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, right? So yeah, I was always a Jose Canseco guy. So I always wore 33. And then later on, later in the 90s, of course, Larry Walker, the great Canadian,
Larry Walker.
Well, and the great Canadian baseball player, right? So we don't have too many of them, but so he became, and he wore 33 as well. So it was like, okay, cool. So I got Larry Walker and Canseco were that's why I always wore 33. So there you go. That was a very long-winded answer for that question, but
no, listen, I dig it because it's funny because I grew up. My father is from Spanish. My father's German guy, right? So I'm half Puerto Rican, half German. My father's a German guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, grew up in Spanish Harlem. So he speaks better Spanish than my mother, who's Puerto Rican from the Bronx, right? So they had this, I guess as long as I can remember, if it's on, right? It was the only sport that they kind of laid the foundation of, you're not a Mets fan, you can't like no one else. I was a big Griffey fan, like Ken Griffey Jr. So I was like, Ken Griffey's the man. Fuck Ken Griffey, this, that. And I'm like, but he's the man, right? Like, I'm not going to root against Ken Griffey Jr. But I'll tell you the hate that Ken Griffey got in my house because he's not a Yankee, right? And then he does the I'll never play for the Yankees because of how they did my dad. Yeah. And about the anti-Griffey shit in my house, right? It's like, it's nuts. So Now I see you got the fourth line voice jersey behind you. Where does the fourth line come up? Because I see your number's 33. So, if me personally, if I ever threw a number on everything, it'll be bare knuckle mob 21, and I don't care how my guys feel.
Well, that jersey, that's a Danbury Trashers jersey that was gifted to me by AJ Gallant, so that was very nice of him. But no, the fourth line voice, when I came up with it, no, it was always just like when I started the podcast, it was going to be about fighting in hockey and tough guys. Well, the tough guys always play on the fourth line. Ooh. And so, and no one ever, that right when I started my podcast too, that was kind of right around the time there was a real swell of anti-fighting in the media and stuff. Cause you'd had but you know what I mean? And like, cause in here in Canada, there's always been people that were vocal about anti-fighting and stuff, but it was never really, you know, you'd have a few pieces, editorials here and there from a few people, but for the most part, fighting's always sort of been tolerated, if not, well, back in the day, encouraged, right? But and obviously that's changed over the years. But in 2010, we had the Don Sanderson, who was a senior hockey player here in Canada. He ended up dying in a fight, and so he hit his head on the ice, and so that really got the ball rolling with the anti-fighting thing, and the junior league started to kind of like, yeah, okay, maybe we should start looking into, because then people are like, oh, you get teenagers fighting, and then the CTE and all the head issues that have come out, and of course Derek Bugard and Belak and all them dying at a young age, and suicide and stuff like that, and overdose and stuff with the pills. So all of a sudden it became the summer of like the three enforcers dying. The NHL guy, Rippin, Bugard, and Belak all died that summer. And they're all tough guys, and it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have fighting and blah. You know, so anyway, I'm rambling here. Sorry, Chef.
No. It's knowledge. Like, it's straight information.
Well, this is how I'm sort of setting it up of how I came up with the name. So it was, so it became like a real, like on all these podcasts, and this is sort of the infancy of podcasting, 2016, 2017 is when I started kind of paying attention to it. And there was nobody doing hockey fight podcast. There was none of that. No, and all these none of these ex-players had shows. Like, podcasting was still sort of new. Yeah. And I mean, and in terms of the hockey, it was just sort of general hockey talk. And they might have a tough guy on here and there, but mostly it was just a bunch of nerds sitting around talking about power plays and shit, right? So, you know, whatever. But they were all sort of ragging on fighting, and it almost became like the older tough guys and stuff, the Proberts and all that stuff. It almost became like a taboo subject. Like, no, that's hockey's dark time. Let's put that in the closet. We're not going to talk about that anymore because CT head injuries and all that shit, and it's bad. And so I'm sitting there like, you know, no, fuck that. Like, no, these guys all have stories. They all played, and no one's talking to them, and no one's. And the media is just shitting all over them. And that's right when Twitter was kind of real hot too. Yeah. And there was all the hockey news writers. They're all shitting on fighting constantly on Twitter. Well, I'd get on there and start fucking warring with them, right? And just like, you know, and I'm finally like, well, you know what? No one's talking for these guys. Like, everyone just shits on them all the time. So I'm going to be their voice. So you remember the infamous, well, we're wrestling guys, the infamous promo cut by CM Punk when he said, I'm the voice of the voiceless.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the voice of the voiceless. These tough guys don't have a voice. No one's talking for them. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to be and they're on the fourth line. So I'm going to be the fourth line voice. And that's where the name came from.
No, that's fucking awesome. Cause like, I can't tell you, cause you do the Friday night fights, right? And I think it was it the second time I watched, maybe the first time, where, oh man, I can't remember the team that they jumped into the stands, and you're like, watch this, and then they're swinging the sticks at the crowd, right? And I'm losing my shit, right? I'm like, yo, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So I'm looking at the time. I'm sending that feed. I'm like, yo, this is my guy's podcast. He does this on Fridays. Watch exactly at this time. We've never seen nothing like this, right? Like, you know, in the States, we have, you know, we pay attention. We don't really pay attention to college. We do the NHL, right? You've never in your life, like, all the fights that happen stays in the ring. It never like really comes out, right? Like, it's what you have? One player. There's like a few players that try to jump over the penalty box, fight somebody, and it's nothing big, right? It's like, oh, cool. They try to beat up one or two fans. Your fan appreciation night videos are the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna tell you, like, that shit motivates the shit out of me.
Well, there is a whole, there is a whole world, especially again with the younger people that are just getting into hockey or the young generation. Well, they've never seen this because they wouldn't know. Well, they wouldn't know to look it up because they don't know, right? So, no. So anybody that's listening to us right now, put Tri-City Americans versus Seattle fans on YouTube. Go watch that. That's with the stick and they're fighting the fans. That was the playoffs too in the Western Hockey League in like 1990. That happened. But like that's what I tell these people now. Like they see something in the NHL and it's like, oh, it's clutch the pearls and this is the worst thing. He should be charged with assault and all this. And it's just like, or he's a goon. I said, you've never seen a goon? Believe me, you don't know what a goon is. And like, if you go back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was Thunderdome back then. And like, these people do not understand. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the way it was. And it was accepted. And, I can remember my brother telling me when he was a rookie in junior, he was 16 years old. There was 2 minutes left in a 5-0 game. They're way up north in this place called Flim Flam, Manitoba. People in Flim Flam don't want to live in Flim Flam. Like, this place is mean, right? And they always have mean teams. And this is like 1996. And he looks out, and it's a preseason. So Flim Flam would load their team up with meatballs just to start fights in the preseason. They didn't give a shit about the score or whatever. So they put out their 5 rockheads. Like, it's like enough cement to pour a driveway out there. And my brother's like, oh. So they put him out and the 4 other rookies. And this is going to be your proving ground. Are you going to do it? And if you don't, it's a long walk home, And the coach sent my brother out and he said, don't come back to the bench. That's what he told him. And all 5 of them went out there. My brother's looking. He lined up, not a word of a lie. Big native guy. He said his head looked like this. His face is shining from all the Vaseline that's on it. And he looks at my brother. He goes, we're going as soon as they drop the puck. My brother's like, I guess so, And my brother's like, drop your shit, though. Because he goes, make sure they drop their stick first, right? He goes, you don't drop your shit until he drops his, right? He's like, make sure we drop your shit. And he's like, yeah. And he got no word of a lie. This big motherfucker, his name was Charlie Brown. That was his name, Charlie Brown. Yeah, my brother's looking at him like, the guy could barely skate. I don't know. He goes, I don't know what. It looked like he's about 32. You're supposed to be under 20. No one's checking IDs, I don't think. He goes, this guy his wife and kids had to be in the stands, right? And it's like, because Ryan's like, there's no way he's 18. Like, yeah, no way. But my brother's 16, and he's just like, but him and I had worked on trade. Like, he had taken boxing. Like, he knew what was up, but it was like, this is nut cutting time now. And this is what separated it back then. And they dropped the puck, and it was like a yard sale. Gloves and everything flew, and Ryan's looking over, and he goes, I'm playing. They send me out with a couple cupcakes, and these guys are looking for asylum, right? Like, they're just hiding and covering their head. But Ryan and Charlie Brown just start, they're going and whatever. And he did pretty good. And, but that was his introduction to junior hockey. And that was the thing, because that's the thing especially in spring training, in the preseason, in hockey, especially in junior back then, the 19, 20-year-olds ain't playing with 3 minutes left in a 5-0 game. They ain't going out there against Charlie Brown. Dude, I paid my dues 3 years ago. I'm not going out to fight these clowns in a preseason game and I'm a 20-year-old. So no, you're going out there. You're the new, and it's like rookie hazing almost, right? So they went out there and it was like, and that's how you got accepted, though. Yeah. Because that whole ride home, rookies always sat at the front of the bus, 2 on both seats, 2 to a seat. Veterans got the whole seats to the back to themselves. They can lay out, whatever. There's a hierarchy in hockey, right? Oh, yeah, and like everything. And they got the poker table in the back, and that's all the old guy. 16-year, you don't wander back. Hey, fellas, what are we playing? No, beat it, nerd. You're up the front, right? Like, you don't do that shit. But after you fight, though, hey, come to the back. You're in. And that's how you got in. And all these guys that went like this, they weren't there next week. So, and like that was how you got accepted. Now, again, is that right or wrong?
I'd say
depends who you ask. But I mean, That's how it was back then.
I was about to say from our era, because I'm a little younger than you, but I'm 46, right? So we're in that same bracket of that era. And I remember when I first started playing basketball, it was kind of like, listen, you're light skinned, you can jump real high, and you're fucking fast. And you got nice white boy hair. So people are gonna fuck with you. And I'm like, whatever, it's whatever. We're playing in Brooklyn. This is like a few months. I'm actually at one of those moments, right? Like it's tie game. I get fouled just like a second left of the game. Guy who's sitting right there in the crowd, he's like, hey, white boy, you hit your free throws, I'm shooting you. And I look at my coach, I'm like, yo, what you want me to do? He's like, miss. I don't want to get shot. And I'm like, I can't miss though. He's like, you better miss, bro. First shot, nail it. Guy starts walking away. I'm like, oh shit, he's actually going to go get his piece. Make my next shot. Ref's like, game's over. Guys, get to your fucking truck, cars, whatever. Get out of here. We're dipping out. Next time we come play, that dude is on the corner hustling. He's like, white boy, what's up, bro? And I'm like, what's up? He's like, you got balls, bro. But I like you. I fuck with you. You're safe here. Like, what type of shit is this? But it was the environment, right? Like, it was that tough guy shit. That's how it was. Like, if you jumped in the lane, you were getting fouled. It's not like, oh, that, let it go. It's okay. No, everything is a proving ground. If you don't have the heart, you can't play. Now, granted, I wouldn't have liked to have been in your brother's situation where I'm going to bang out versus 5 freaking goons. And it's pretty much me and maybe one dude. So it's like a 2-on-5. But I mean, your brother stood tall, so they respected him.
Yeah, and that was the thing, and that's how you got respect back then. And whatever. I'm not going to get on the soapbox now, but I mean but that's gone now. But they don't do that anymore. And that to me, that's part of the problem. I'm not saying we got to go back to the 90s and start swinging sticks at fans and starting brawls, but I mean, there's so much, a lot of yapping and no backing it up, and it's just, I don't know. To me, I just look at it. It's embarrassing. Like, I don't know, how do these guys survive in a locker room? Like, I don't know how the boys, even on his own team, are just like, what are you doing? Like, just, that's what would happen back then. And it's one thing, and it's like anything in sports, right? Yeah, and the coach is yelling at you, whatever. But when it's the boys on you, that's a whole different story, because you don't want to let the boys down. I don't give a shit about the coach, but if he's mad at me, whatever. But if the boys are pissed at you, then you take that shit to heart, right? So,
but that, I think culturally, this is why you see athletes actually run the leagues now. I'm not getting the ball enough. Well, I don't want to play here. You're not running me. I don't want to play here. Right. And they get on this diva shit. Everybody starts crying. Now everybody flops for attention, and it's cool. Where back in the days, if you were a flopper, you got no respect. Like, Adam, it's.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's just, look at the scoreboard. Oh, yeah. Okay. But how do you look at yourself in the mirror, lying around like a bitch? Like, just. Yeah, I don't, and that's just, I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to paintbrush, every hockey player is like this, because they're not. Some of them aren't, but there are a whole bunch of them that if they played like this in the 90s, they'd be indoor soccer players and not hockey players. they wouldn't last, because like I said, there's tough guys now and everything else, but it's not like it was. And again, and maybe that's good. Depends who you ask, I guess. I don't know. But I think the problems become, like anything in life, I think everything's gone too far the other way now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, before it was probably a little too goofy. There's probably a little too goofy at times, for sure. But now we've gone too far. Now everything's just bubble wrapped, right? And it's just, and this idea that, especially like with pro players and stuff, it's almost like all these people on the sidelines. It's like, we got to make rules to save them from themselves. Oh, okay, get off your white horse here. Like, what are you white knighting for? Like, and a lot of it's just social, like media grandstanding too.
Yep.
Like, well, just look how good I am. Like, look how progressive I am. And it's just like, yeah, but like I said, it's a lot of people making up the rules that never did it, right? So,
I think
because if you ask the players, they're like, just the players don't have a problem with this shit.
No.
So why are you like I had this big debate. This guy was giving me shit about them having to wear visors in the NHL. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Oh, they should, though. I'm like, according to you, what do you give a shit for? You're on your couch. What does it matter to you?
You're not playing.
No, like these are grown adults. If they don't want to wear a visor, don't wear a visor. Like, I don't give a shit. Well, they could lose their eye. Yeah, they could, but whatever. They were like, I'm not wearing a visor.
See, I think
we went 35 years without him before.
Yeah, and the last guy in the NHL, I think his name was Marty McTavish, right? The last guy who didn't wear a helmet.
Craig McTavish, yeah.
Okay. I was at Madison Square skating around beginning of the game, and here comes this guy with no helmet, and I'm like, why is he not wearing a helmet, right? Like, and I'm like, all right, maybe beginning of the game he just don't wear his helmet, right? I don't know, like, I don't know. Then he's, and game on, he comes into the game, he's got no helmet. I'm like, hey, Uncle Pete, why don't that guy wear a helmet? He's like, you don't feel like it. I'm like, what if the hockey puck hits him in the head? Like, I'm like, oh, well, what? I mean, at that point, fuck it. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it, right? It's your decision.
Oh yeah, well I never understood. That was insane. But I mean, yeah, in the 70s and stuff, most of the guys didn't wear helmets and stuff. But that was this guy's argument to me. He goes, well, if it was up to the players, they wouldn't even wear helmets. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm like, a lot. But again, you're talking to someone that doesn't know. I'm like, have you seen the equipment from the 70s compared to now? Like in the 70s, it was all soft shoulder pads and they were really tiny. And like when you hit, even if you're the hitter, you felt it, right? Because it was there was nothing to these shoulder pads. Well, now these guys come out looking like RoboCop and like, these guys, Kevlar, you can stop a bullet wearing this shit, right? Well, yeah, you're not going to go helmetless with these guys running around. That and it's twice as fast. And you can't hold anybody up. There's no center ice anymore. Like it's just faster, right? So, and the clutching and grabbing they don't allow that anymore, right?
Yep.
But that's the thing. Oh, it's faster. Well, no, the clutching and grabbing made it safer because you're slowing the guy down. So It's like, so they dump the puck in and your defense partner is going back to get the puck and the forward's coming in at 1,000 miles an hour. At least his defense partner could get in the way and hold him up and the guy's not good. Now they can't touch him. So this guy's on a kamikaze mission coming straight at this guy and he's getting killed, right? And it's like, and then of course everybody, but then these are the same people that cry about fighting and head trauma. I'm like, well, okay, well, what is it then? I said, well, that's what this guy's arguing with me. That's why he doesn't want fighting. It's because all the CT and the head trauma. I'm like, well, what's the leading cause of head trauma? He goes, what do you mean? I said, in hockey, what's the leading causes of concussions? He goes, hitting. I said, well, then I guess we should get rid of hitting too. Well, no, now you're just being stupid. I said, you're the one crying to me that you want to get rid of headshots. So it's like, and he's like, well, yeah, but if you elbow a guy in the head, I said, well, I can hit you clean and give you a concussion.
Yeah.
It's not the shot to the head. Well, the shot to the head will give you a concussion, but it's like, it's not the shot. It's the sudden stop. You're going 35 miles an hour and all of a sudden it's stopped and your head snaps forward. Well, yeah, now you got a concussion. I hit you right in the I hit my shoulder right into the middle of your chest. It was a clean hit, but you're concussed. Like, and that's the thing. I think everyone's, and you should obviously CT. We didn't know about CTE growing up and stuff, right? No. So you never, and I mean, I know I had my bell rung a whole bunch of times, and it was just like, but back then it was just like, I don't know, hit the one in the middle. I'm seeing 3, hit the one in the middle. All right. And it was just, and you didn't think about it, right? Science wasn't there. We were just, we're just dummies, right? You play through it, put some dirt on it, get back out there, stop being a pussy. That was kind of the mindset, and again, so it's good now that they don't do that. And they're much more conscious of it. Obviously I'm not advocating to be like, no, play through it. No, but what was the point I was trying to make? No, but it's just like, but at the end of the day, if you don't want your kid to have CTE and you're worried about head trauma, don't put them into contact sports then.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're going to avoid CTE. Because other than that, if you're playing a contact sport, you're getting head trauma. Because you're going to get hit, whether it be football or anything. Oh, worst concussions I had was in baseball. You know, the worst one I took was a breaking up a double play. I was sliding in and the guy's knee hit me right in the forehead. My ears were ringing for like 3 days, you know, and it was just like, my eyes spun like slot machines, right? And it was like, it was crazy. And then other times, sometimes you got punched, you got hit and whatever, but it was just like, but that was just, so it was all head trauma. So it's over the years and it's and obviously it affects everyone differently. And there's some real sad cases, right? And you see all the old boxers and stuff. And it's just
it's terrible.
Yeah, and it's just like, and that's what all these UFC, and again, I'm not wishing this on anybody, but it's like, that's what all these UFC guys are going to be, all these bare knuckle guys, all this stuff at the end. When you're 60, 70 years old, you weren't meant to get hit like that, right? And it's like, but no one these days can say they didn't know.
Exactly.
I mean, a guy in the 70s can say that, and 80, but guys now can. I mean, the science is all out there. So at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to avoid head trauma, stay away from physical sports. That's about the only way you can avoid it. But other than that, you're getting it. We've all got it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you said 3 days that your head was ringing, right?
At least.
So one that I know of. I have one concussion that I know of, and we were playing against a team. It was from Queensbridge. I think they were the Warriors. It was either Warriors, some shit like that. And guy coming across the middle, I've seen him beating my boy, and they're gonna throw it over. So I cheat. I go to try to break it up. I dive. That guy dives. So we go like head to head. Boom! Right now, I don't remember nothing of the rest of that day.
Yeah.
But at one point, when I jumped back up and that guy jumped back up, we went to the line. They're like, "Yo, you got him?" And I'm trying to tell people, I got 3 guys over here. This is what I'm saying. I don't even know because I'm out. And they're like, it's a one-on-one. When they hiked the ball, me and the guy never moved, right? So they're like, oh, this guy's fucked up. Put me to the sideline. Yeah. When my brain finally caught up with everything else, I was sitting on a curb at like 8 o'clock at night. My game was around 10:30 in the morning. At 8 o'clock at night, I'm sitting on a curb outside of a bodega. And my boy Dave and my sister come out. And they're like, yo, I'm like, what am I doing right here? They're like, we went to the store. And I'm like, wow, okay. And he's like, bro, like, you all right? I'm like, I don't remember shit. I thought we didn't even play football. Like, I'm like, damn. So concussions are a crazy thing. But let me tell you something. Like, we know, okay, we didn't know the concussion, but we're playing football, playing basketball, playing hockey. You know it's a physical sport. And especially in our era, it's a very, let me not lie and say that the way we talk is to like, we're going to kill somebody out here. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody goes up, we're taking them the fuck out. So that was the mentality. You got to be an animal. If you're not an animal, you're going to get hurt. What's the best interview you've ever done?
What's that?
The best interview you've ever had? I'm trying to segue back to you.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's we'll go back to the podcasting. Best interview. Yeah, I mean, it's I fortunately I've been lucky enough to interview hundreds of people at this point, I guess. Or 100 plus for sure after I'm almost at 500 episodes. And that was the other thing. I had about 60 episodes on my own platform before the website crashed. So I'm probably closer to 600 episodes than I am 500. But so I always laugh. I don't know if it was the best interview, but my very first one, I interviewed a guy named Josh Mazer, who was a tough guy in junior and then played a couple of years in the minors and stuff. He's the assistant coach in Medicine Hat now. But he was my very first interview. And I was a fan of his growing up. So him and I are about the same age, but I remember watching him in junior and got all his fights and I was just a fan. So I got to talk to him. Oh yeah, let's do it. So did the interview and he made it so easy. If I'd only known, Chef, because he made it so easy that after it was done, like, oh yeah, like he could tell a story. He was like I'd ask him a few things, and he'd
Yeah.
on and on he'd go. He'd tell some great stories. His memory was really good, and he could recall all the fights, and he was just a really good and really nice guy. And we still stay in touch now, but he made it so easy. Wow, this podcast, this is easy. This is going to be great. I'm going to love that. Well, if I only knew. Oh, if I could go back and talk to myself, because it's been nothing but half the time a pain in the ass. But it's like, yeah, so I got really spoiled right out of the gate with him. But yeah, Josh Mazer had a really good Joey Tedorenko, and he played in the NHL for a little while. He had some great NHL stories, and I think a lot of people probably like those, because it's one thing when you interview a junior and a minor league guy, and as a real like fight nerd, and I know all the guys in the minors and all that stuff. I mean, it means something to me, right? But you got to kind of be a minor league guy. But when you get an NHL guy on and he starts telling Mario Lemieux stories or Yager stories, now everybody can relate to it, right? Because now they're like, even the casual fan would be like, well, I might not know who this guy is, but I know who Mario Lemieux is. So, okay, I'll listen to this, right? And like NHL guys kind of have those stories, obviously, right? So a lot of people that listen to my show would probably say that one, because he had some. Well, and I laugh with Tedorenko. Tedorenko was good too, because he's one of those guys. He's a talker. He can tell a story, right? Oh yeah, he can tell a story, and he's got his bits, right? He's got a few lines, some stories, because when he's sitting at the parties or whatever, he's meets people or whatever. Well, you played in the NHL. They're on their phone looking up his stats and. Oh, what was it like playing here? He's got these stories dialed in, right? So he can fall back. He's probably got his old lady's heard that same 6 goddamn stories probably 1,000 times, right? But to a new audience, this is gold. They're like little kids just staring at him, right? Listening with their legs crossed at the house party, listen to this guy talk about Wayne Gretzky, right? And his wife's in the background, like, oh God, here we go. Gotta hear this again. Oh yeah, but so he had all this right down. So when I asked him, it was like he had it in the holster. He was ready. He had it in the holster, right? As soon as I mentioned the name, off we go. And he's telling stories, and it was great. Well, those interviews, when you ask the question, then it's just this.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because here we go, right? Yep. And those interviews are really good when you could just ask the question and lean back and be a fan. Because now you're just listening too, right? Like you're riveted, right? Other guys, I'm gonna throw names out, but it's like you're a slug, you're dragging them with you, right? Like it's just you're trying to get them there, right? But it's like I love it when you got here's what I actually had an interview tonight, so I got all the questions, I got all my research right here. So I ask him the first question, and I get okay, right on. He asked the next question, Oh well, finally you're like, dude, I've done 3 pages of notes, and I'm looking at the time. We're at 6 minutes. So I mean, I need a little something from you. Oh, I've had to stop podcasts before, put it on pause. And I'm like, dude, you got to work with me here. You got to give me something. Yes, no. And I mean, I know you fight these guys. You don't want to shit talking. Okay, I get it. But I mean, not because, how's this guy? Oh, tough guy. Oh, yeah, no, he was a tough guy. Well, yeah, we all know they're tough guys. But I mean, you didn't like everybody you played against. There had to be some motherfucker you wanted to end. Yeah. Well, you can say it. I'm not saying you're going to run him over in the parking lot at Walmart tomorrow if you saw him. We're talking about shit that happened 20 years ago. I mean, we can let shit go, but at the same time, you got to put yourself. Can you put yourself in that 1998 time frame so we can get some stories from you? And then you got other guys like they still coach minor hockey or their kids hockey, so they don't want to get too controversial. They don't want to start. They're not going to talk about the whores in Omaha or anything, right? So sure. But then other guys don't give a shit, right? They're just. I had a few guys that he talked about Vegas stuff. We're sitting there talking about whatever, and then he's just sitting there and he's just like, yeah, I gotta say though, the best whores were in Tallahassee. I'm like, what? Like,
where'd that come from?
I'm like, all right, and he starts talking about all the chicks and all that. I'm like, oh, well, and at the end of the day, I've always told these guys, it's your story. Like, it's your name on this. It ain't me telling it. It's your story. If you want that out there, it's going to be out there. So be careful with what you say, because I'm not editing anything. So I asked you the question. You said it. You're being recorded, obviously. So if you want to tell that story, I'm not going to censor you. Go right ahead. So that's what I tell a guy. You can say whatever you want, but just remember, It's not going to be Darren said. No, it's going to be he said. So
Yeah.
I just gave you the platform to say it. But there's a few topics, obviously, I'm not going to, I won't touch on with them. And I've had guys bring up like the political thing. They want to talk politics. I said, no one's tuning into the Fourth Line Voice to hear politics. I don't give a shit about yours. I know you don't give a shit about mine, and I don't want to hear yours. So we're not talking about that.
Yep, no politics.
You know, and it doesn't matter either way. I don't care what side I don't give a shit. We're not doing it because it's just why no one's tuning into the Fourth Line Voice for that shit anyway. There's too much of that already. It's like people they're listening to this show for an escape, right? They don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're not talking that. Like I said, I think of all the interviews I've ever done, I think I've only edited maybe 3 where I took something out. One, because the guy phoned me afterwards and asked me to take it out, which is fine. I'm not going to, oh no, my artistic integrity won't let me. You're like, no, I mean, you know, yeah, no, we'll take it. If you want it out, we'll take it out. You know, it's not my story. So I'll take it out. No problem. And then the other 2 were just kind of like, you know, because it wasn't talking about him anymore. He was talking about someone else.
Okay, yeah.
And and we'll put it this way. I wasn't sure their marital status at the time. And I'm like, yeah, we don't need to, you know, so we'll just, you know.
We'll fix this little spot right here.
Yeah. Well, and as he's telling it, I'm already writing the time down. Like, okay, well, we're going to be editing that part. Right. Like, because the guy he was talking about, I wouldn't want him knowing where I live. We'll put it that way. So, yeah. No. So it was, we're not going to do that. But, and he was hot at me after when he listened to that show. Why did you take that story out? It was good. Well, it was a good story, but I don't want that guy pissed at me. So, you know, whatever. But no, overall, it's been a lot of fun. You have your runarounds with the players sometimes. I mean, I said I've never met busier people in my life than retired hockey players, apparently. So I'm like, I don't know. Like like I asked one guy, I remember it was right around this time. It was a couple of years ago. It was right around, I remember because I thought maybe after Christmas he might do it. I said, so I'd love to do the show. I listen to your stuff. Yeah, good. I'm like, all right, right on. When do you want to book something? And he goes, I don't know. How about April? I'm like, what, you need 4 months notice? Like April? I'm like, you know, like I said, like, I'm like, don't you drive a forklift at Costco? Like, you know, like, you know, how busy can you be? Right? Like, what do you work? You're like, I know you don't work for National Defense or anything. So, you know, you're not on SEAL Team 6. So I'm like, what do you mean? You're like, you work at Costco. It takes you 4 months to get ready for an interview. Needless to say, we didn't do the interview, but you get shit like that, or you get guys that ghost you or whatever. And then that sort of, that puts you in a mood. I can tell you that. The one thing I will say that, well, you know, I'm surprised by, and I shouldn't be at this. I guess it's not surprised isn't the right word. I'm not surprised anymore. I was at one time, but now I'm not anymore. I'm at the lack of common courtesy, but I think that's sort of, that could be for the world these days, I guess. But like, you picked the time, but instead of just texting me, I can't make it today, bro, I'll get back to you. We've come up with a better time, which is fine, like an adult would. You just ghost me. So then I text you like, hey man, and then you just don't reply, and it's just like, why can't you? Or else all of a sudden, like I have one guy, he ghosted me, and then like 3 weeks later, he phones me at 11:30, like a Tuesday night, out of the blue. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, I'm just getting in the shower. I gotta work in 6 hours. Like, what are you talking about? Well, I thought you wanted to do an interview. I'm like, yeah, a month ago. Like, I just like click block. I'm like, fuck you. You know, like, just like, if you're gonna, like, don't treat me like a jerk off. Like, that's the thing. Exactly. Dude, I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm not some little high school kid or elementary school kid standing out in the parking lot with my lunchbox waiting for you to sign it. I don't give a shit, dude. I asked you to do the show, be a man, or else just, I've had some guys be like, yeah, no, I'm not into it.
And that's
I don't do podcasts. Yeah, good. Guess what? I'll never bother you again. I'll never ask you again. And I won't. I wish they would do that. Just say no or fuck off or something. Like, sell something. But this whole sure thing, brother, you know, love what you do, man. And then you just no show. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I hate that shit. Be a man. Have some common courtesy for people. Like, I valued your time. What time do you want to go at? What day do you want to be at? I'll be there. You know, whatever. So value my time. Like, I'm like, dude, I work 60, 70-hour weeks. I have a wife upstairs I need to talk to now and again. You know, like, you know, work with me. Like, I'm not just some clown sitting by my, you know, by the microphone here just waiting for you to call me. Like, no, I got a life too. So respect that, you know, and like, I respected your time, respect my time. So, and like I said, for the most part, it's good, but you remember the guys that do that shit to you.
Oh yeah.
And it starts grading on you after a while. So I really went away from the interviews for a long time. Like, there was a while there, I'd have an interview a week. Like, every week I was getting guys, and it was like pretty much, and it was just rolling. And then you start getting a few of these, and then I just got tired of it. And it was just like, you know who's going to be here every week? I'll be here every week. So you know what? I'll just do my own shit. And I just started doing a ton of solo episodes. And I'd do the lists, or I'd open friggin' hockey cards, or some bullshit, right? But I'd come some historical shit, tell some old stories or whatever. You know, are the ratings as good as when I have Joey Dorenko on? No. But you know what? I didn't have any headache. I didn't have any pain in the ass. I just came down here, cracked a beer, started telling stories, and came up with shit. And I some of the times I'll do what I call my week on the internet. So I'll go off on some idiot that I was fighting with online, or I'll talk about some bullshit that happened at work. And because that's the other thing, I work out in the public and I'm a government worker, so everyone hates me. So I get like, I have those stories, right? You know, so it was like, got that. Oh, the subway in town. I always got a subway story, some pinhead in front of me. So I'll tell shit like that. And I'll have guys that listen to my show all the time. They're like, oh, the best part's when you get mad about shit and start ranting. Hey, fuck the hockey shit. They just want me to get mad about something at work, or, you know. So no, it's just been, but it's been a lot of fun. And there's been times after this many times in 7 or 8 years I've done it. It's like, I mean, you think about quitting and just retiring the show, and it's been fun, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I have too much fun to come down here at night and turn the microphone on and rant into it and yell out my window. And that's the thing. You turn on the mic and start yelling in the microphone, and you wonder if anybody's listening, because now you're just talking to the ether, right? It's like, because, you know, maybe there's someone listening, and then you start getting feedback from literally around the world. And it's crazy, man. It's how the internet's made the world so small.
I think that someone like you is needed, right? Like, because there's a lot of people who do content and it's like over the top and it's a gimmick, right? Like, but you're who you are. This is why I really fuck with you, because you're organic. And it's like, I think especially with like the Ice Wars and eventually with like the Major League Hockey fights, these guys need a platform. And it's different where like someone like me is just having some fun. You know the lay of the land. You know all these guys, where they played, where they trained, how they came up. You are home for them, right? Your platform should be the platform that they go to no matter what. So we need you, like, and it's not me sitting here because you're on, because I find you entertaining as fuck, right? There are days where I'll be fucking annoyed at, you know, I don't know, fucking sky is not blue enough for me, and I'm just in one of those fucking Darren voice, and I'm just laughing my ass off, and I'm like, man, the world needs more Darren. That's, you know, I'm just being honest.
Well, that, folks, I will tell you, I'll get on Instagram and I will send him audio messages. This motherfucker answers, he gets back to me, I got fucking chickens clucking in the background. I'm like, don't you live in Florida? What the fuck are you doing with chickens? Yeah, I'm building a chicken coop. You're what now? Like, all right, are you in New York? Like, I thought you'd be at Rutgers Park or something. No, he's out in the fucking chicken coop. Okay, here we are, chef. Yeah, whitest Puerto Rican I know. But it was like, I was like, all right, you know, we're trying to talk basketball, and I played in grade 9, round mound of rebound, brother. But I could run a pick like nobody's business. But you know, but yeah, no, that's the thing with the podcasting, and I've always said this, and it's probably to my benefit that I started when I was older. Like, I was in my 40s when I started, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen everything, right? I've lived the life, and you know, I'm not if I had done this at 18, 19, 20, I'd probably be a
right?
Oh, like,
no,
whatever.
I trust me, I'm with you on that boat.
Yeah. Now I've I'd like to think I learned a few things, but the one thing I've always respected, because I know how hard it is, you know how hard it is. And I've said, you can go back on any social media, my thousands of social media posts, all my hundreds of hours of podcasting. Not once have I ever shit on a player. I've never shit on an athlete. I've shit on actions they've done.
Yep.
They do stupid shit. I'll call them on doing stupid shit. But I've never called the guy, a piece of shit. He's useless or whatever. He sucks. And I challenge anybody to go back and find anything where I've said of that. Because like I said, who am I to say that? I don't have the credibility to say that. I'm going to say a guy in the NHL sucks. But that's how far as we gone away. The Stephen A. Smiths, the Jim Romes of the world, the Skip Baylesses. Who the fuck are these clowns? These guys have made millions of dollars shitting on professional athletes, and they can't do any of the shit that they're talking about. So I'm like, no. But I mean, if I'm watching an NFL game and Tom Brady goes, Jesus, this guy's the shit. Then goddamn, he's the shit because Tom Brady said he is. And like, but no, you'll have guys like, oh, he played, like, I'll have people tell me, like, on my show, it's like, oh, you talk about guys in juniors and the minors. Well, they never made it. Guy played professional hockey. Like, do you know how hard it, like, do you know what the percentage is to just play junior hockey? Like, or let alone pro? Fuck the NHL. Never mind the NHL. But I had one time, the guy said they make too much money in the NHL. They make more money than doctors. I said, yeah, they do. But I said, you know what? There's 1 million doctors in the world. There's 700 hockey players.
Exactly.
So, like I always say, teachers should be the highest paid profession anyway. But that's a debate for another story. Because I said that's the job that creates all others. But anyway, that's a debate. Is my wife listening? I'm trying to win brownie points here. But no, it's like, so I've never shit on an athlete because I know how hard it is. Because I tried and I wasn't good enough. So I know how hard it is. So for them to, for some bozo to sit on the internet, he only played junior. Where did you play? Like, you play at 9:00 at night Tuesday in the beer league. It's not the same. You're not the same, bro. Like, no, you're not. But they like to think that somehow if it wasn't for their knee, they could have went pro. No, you couldn't have. Like, stop. Like, and that's what, like, even with the Ice Wars guys, like some of them, like who are these clowns? Well, I can put you in touch with the guy that puts this on. Put on skates, motherfucker. Let's see it then. If these guys are such clowns and you're so tough, I don't see you signing up for anything. Here's a form. I can send it to you. And at the time, I knew people. I could get you in if you wanted to be in. I noticed all of a sudden, the tone changed real quick when I sent the guy the DM. As they say, I slid into his DMs with the application form. Yeah, needless to say, I didn't hear back. Yeah, so stop with that. Like, just like I said, we're all fans, and I like this guy more than this guy, or I think this guy could beat up that guy. Well, that's fan bullshit. We're all just talking. But when you start taking shots at people and talking about their skill sets and all this, coming from a position of having no clue, like, shut the fuck up, And I've always been real conscious of that, and I mean, maybe when even at 18, I think I was probably still like that at 18, 19, but more than likely back then, maybe I would have shit on guys more or whatever. You flap your lips or whatever, and but like you said, a lot of times though, there's a lot of these guys, it's a gimmick too, right? They're playing to the crowd or playing to their listeners. I get it, but at the same time, or you got to come up with your hot take, right? Like, you got to have so it goes viral. And I think half the time these guys don't even believe the shit that they're saying, but it's like, it's going to get a reaction, right? So I'm going to say it. And it's like I said, I'm 50 years old. I'm too old for that shit. I'm not out here trying to say shit to get people. Like, if you read something that I put online, I mean it. I said, when I say something on my podcast, I mean it. Ask me 5 years from now, I'll mean it. No, I've said it. I meant it. Like, I'm not just saying this to get clicks or whatever. Like, no, I mean it. Say, if you're going to say it, mean it. And it's like, yeah. So it's, and I think, and just from doing it for so long and talking to these guys and being in it, it's, I think the listeners respect that. And I think they understand it. And, and I, like I said, I respect the players. And I think at the same time, I think the players respect my point of view and where I'm coming from too. And they know that, Yeah, it is. So I have a pretty good relationship with people, and at the end of the day, the thing with the podcasting that's been really cool. And I was going to say this before, but when I thought about getting out of it and whatever, it's just when you get people reaching out to you, strangers, like, and it's some guy in fucking Des Moines on his drive into work every morning to the factory. Every Monday morning, I'm playing your shit in the car, man. It makes the drive, my 45-minute drive to work so much easier. And I love the subway rant you were talking about. Yeah, that's right. Fuck the Oilers, and like, and you're like, all right. And it's like, and you just get these strangers talking to you, or you get a guy from like Russia. Like, I remember on the Believe network, you could see all the regions where your show is listened to, and it breaks it down by audience and shit. There was like some guy on the Isle of Malta. I had one guy on the Isle of Malta. He'd listen to my shit every week. Every week I had one. And I'd go on the air and be like, dude, whoever you are, send me a direct message. And I never heard from him, but he's there every week. And so when you get these guys that listen from the beginning, or they start listening every week, or it's humbling, man. And it's just like, because I'm just some fucking idiot in my basement in Saskatchewan, right? Like, but to think that people are going to buy your merch, right? Or you listen to your show, or, and it's so it's humbling. It's unbelievable. And like when I went to Ice Wars, first time I ever went to Ice Wars in Edmonton, that was the thing. Like for the longest time, like I didn't do the Fighting Friday on YouTube and all this or stuff like this. No one had ever seen me because my shit's all audio. So they didn't know what I looked like. And I don't have pictures on I just never bothered, right? So no one knew what I looked like. So the first couple Ice Wars, the first Ice Wars I went to, I had interviewed these guys like 2 weeks earlier. But at that time it was like just Skype on their phone. They didn't know what I looked like, so I had to go up and introduce myself. They're kind of looking at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm like, "Darren from the Fourth Line Voice." Oh, okay. So my wife, the next time they had Ice Wars in Edmonton, she's like, "You need to wear a shirt or something that says Fourth Line." And I'm like, I'm gonna wear my own merch. Like I didn't have any merch or anything, but she's like, she like basically got her little cricket machine out and made me a t-shirt.
I love
right?
cricket. I'm
Fourth
not gonna lie,
Line
I
Voice
got one too.
Oh yeah, but at the time I'm like, oh, like how corny is this? And she goes, well, they don't know what you look like. And I'm like, I guess. So I'm like, all right. And it was at the River Creek. We stayed at the hotel, but at the big casino, and they had the rink there all set up. So yeah, I put on the Fourth Line Voice shirt and I went on down there. Again, I'm not gonna say, they all flocked to me, but it was like, you'd see this. And, are you Darren? Yeah. And the best thing I did was wear that goddamn shirt. I'll tell you that. But yeah, but it was just, I had like random guys coming up to me in the, oh yeah, you don't know me. My name's Jim, but I listen to your show all the time. And it's like, it was just really cool. And it was like, yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just humbling because I got this little cheap microphone from Staples and turned it on and hit record and started spouting my bullshit, right? And it was just, the fact that anybody would listen is still crazy to me. But it's been a real fun ride. It's been a lot of fun.
I don't know about the crazy statement because like I said, there's a style to you that you not only know what you're talking about, but you can still feel the passion you have for the game, right? And I think that comes across really, really strong. And I hate that people will say, oh, well, they play junior. Well, all right. Well, fucking, why are you listening if you're not interested in the person I'm talking to or talking about or the team, right? Like, what are you listening for? So you can just shit on somebody just because. Meanwhile, this guy's playing, I don't know how many people in the stands, but he's got fans, right? People are there to watch these people play and do their thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's at some, like I said, you only played in the minors. No, at some time, somebody who owned a hockey team paid that person money to play for them. So I don't know what you're talking like I said, like this is some beer league on a Tuesday night, like that you pay to play in. No, it's a completely different thing, right? And I think people just don't realize how good these guys are. But I think it's just in general, I think there's just a lot of, and you can't, and it's easy to say, oh, don't want to get to you, but there's always haters and there's always going to be someone and that's funny, for all the good messages you get and all the good comments and shit, you'll remember the motherfucker that shit talks you. I can remember every bad review I ever got almost word for word, right? But the good ones are great. I love getting the feedback, but I can remember the ones where they got on me, right? And you know, so you remember those, and to act like it doesn't bother you, you'd be lying. I mean, it doesn't, like, it's not going to ruin my day or anything, but it's just, some of them are kind of funny. Other times it's sort of like, I get to the point now, I guess, that maybe I'm getting soft in my old age and stuff, but I just don't understand just like why.
See, and
there's lots of podcasts out there that I'm never going to listen to. I don't like them. I don't send them messages like, you're the shit.
you're the drizzle shit.
Yeah, like I got the YouTube channel. I'll have people commenting underneath the video. I've never liked this guy. And what the fuck do you click on the video for? Like, if I'm going through YouTube and I see a Justin Bieber video, I don't click on it and then say, yeah, this kid's an asshole. I just never click on it. Like, so I don't understand. If you don't like something, why would you go? It's almost like, but I think some people just like being miserable.
It's, the thing is too, like, everybody just wants to be a hater. I don't know. Like I said, when we were growing up, if you were a hater, you were a cornball. I remember the first time I think I only did 2 females at that point. I had like 4 or 5 BKFC fighters, all males. I had Borga. Borga, I think, was the first. No, she was my second interview. I had Jessica Borga, who was 1. And then when I had like 7 guys that I interviewed prior, right? I did Bret Hart. So somebody seen that, you know how, like, when I do this, I can have, like, watch this one. So if I interview a female, I always put another female to be the next thing you can watch. If I do a dude, there's a dude. And I had the 2 girls. And somebody goes, wow, look at this simp. Now, I don't know what a simp is, right? Like, so I'm like, I don't know if I should like this comment, right? So I'm like, it's a simp. He's like, oh, you're like one of those nerds that would, like, drink a chick's bathwater. I'm like, the fuck? Right? Now I'm like, yo, I'm going to respond. So he's like, don't bother. Just fucking ignore it. And I'm like, nah, what? Like, the fuck kind of shit is that? So, yeah, like, getting older, you definitely feel a way. But at the same time, I don't think people realize, and this is another reason why I fuck with you, obviously. We don't just do interviews with every single person that's out there. We pick who we want to talk to. So if I don't have an interest in you, I'm not going to reach out to you, right? Like, I've had other people interview me. Well, I mean, shit, well, now we're down this road. Yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. But, it's going to sound different than anything else. So how are you going to be sitting there talking about, oh, Darren, this guy didn't play at a high enough level? Well, okay, that's why I'm interviewing him, right? Like, the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with my show, too. Like, there's been a lot of times, like, I've just had, like, fellow fans on. Because I just like hearing people's stories. Like, they're from a different region. So how'd you get into it? Oh, I was a minor league guy, or we had a minor league team here. That's why I got into it. Or I'm from Ontario, so I got into the Ontario Junior League. Because I'm in the West, so I got the Western Hockey League. So everyone has a different origin story, right? So and they're fight fans. So it was like, and then they could, so they could tell you stories from, back in like 1980, 90 or whatever. I saw this guy, that guy. So I've had a wide range of guests on, from fans to to fighters to, whatever. So like you said, I guess I've got every once in a while I'll get in the mood to get a little froggy online. And I'll start saying some shit, but for the most part, I kind of just post my shit and get out.
Yeah.
I always say, do as I say, not as I do. But I always tell people, I said, the best thing you could do is don't scroll.
Exactly.
Just post your shit and get out. Don't scroll. I for a long time I was doing that, and I'd do but I'd look at my notifications. Okay, because now they're looking at my shit, so they're replying to what I posted. Most of the time it's pretty good, but every once in a while somebody will be a little ignorant. I'll fire back on them up a little bit, whatever. But
so listen.
But nowadays, and so now it's just like, I'm not going to sit and argue with you, or if you're just going to be like just some asshole or whatever, there's a block button for a reason. I'll just block you. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't need you in my life. I don't need to read your shit. And then you'll always get something, blocking's so pussy. I'm like, no, blocking is the same reason why I flush. I don't need your shit in my life. So like, why? I don't give a shit. I don't want your shit in my timeline. I don't care what you have to say. Half the time you're just trolling anyway. That's the other thing. You're a grown adult trolling on social media. I mean, I can't think of anything much more pathetic than that anyway. So
I agree. So
So, and again, 19-year-old me, I'd go to war on the keyboard with this guy all night, right?
Greasy.
50-year-old me, block, move on. Yeah.
All right. So. I got 4 questions and I'm going to let you go. The first one I'm going to ask you is the greatest hockey fight you've seen in your life.
Well, I won't drag this out too long. Mel Engelstad versus Darcy Hordichuk, I would say round 1 would probably be from the IHL is probably my favorite fight of all.
If anyone ever said, yo, if you had them get into watching hockey fights, that'd be the fight you're like, this is the one you got to watch to get into it.
Yeah, I would say so. Like for the simple point, like, like even if you play that fight to an old hockey player or whatever, and they watch it, everybody's reaction is like, Jesus Christ. Like, just, what are you doing? And like, oh yeah, they just hammer the shit out of each other for like 25 seconds, just teeing off, and like there's no ducking. It's just, it was crazy. And it was and I know both those guys. So it was on a personal level. So it was crazy for that reason too. But they had a rematch that was almost as good. But I would say that would be, that's like hard, right? I mean, like I said, I've seen a million fights, so and there's lots of good ones, but off the top of my head, real quick, I would say that one.
Greatest goalie of all time.
Greatest goalie of all time?
Numbers 30. I'm just throwing it out there. It's numbers 30.
Well, you want me to say Brodeur, right? You can't, obviously him or Patrick Waugh, one of the two.
Those are the ones that I debate about, is Patrick Waugh or Brodeur, right? Yeah. And I don't remember, I think it might have been Zach Hughes who tried to tell me Ed Belfour, and I love Belfour, right? But I don't think that he's in the category as Patrick Waugh or Brodeur.
No, I don't think so. And some people will throw out Hasek, Don McHasek, and it's like, and then, if you go old school, like Ken Dryden and guys like that, like the old guys, right? So, but every generation's going to think theirs was the best one, right? So, so you talk to some young kid now and they'll say, Carey Price or something, or Henrik Lundqvist or whatever, right? Like that's who they'll say, right? So Patrick Waugh is my generation, and Brodeur. So, but but then Brodeur, they always say, well, he was only good because they played the trap in New Jersey, and and I'm like, hey, well, that's what they'll say, right? That's the thing, and it's like, well, all right, well, no, he had all those guys. Those guys were great in front of him, and I'm like, but did he make them great? You could argue that too, right? You did, but you got to. Hey, at the end of the day, you got to stop.
Exactly.
So, and he did. So. Yeah, so either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Greatest hockey player of all time. You want to say 99. I know you want to say 99.
Yeah, well, I think his records are so far. I know Ovechkin broke his goal record, but he has more assists than the second guy has points. So it's like whoever, so, but then there's the argument, well, if Lemieux hadn't gotten hurt, it would probably be Mario. But at the end of the day, he got hurt. So could have, should have, won it, right?
I'm that biased.
I don't argue with that
asshole that will always stand on 66 being the greatest. That's just me, though. That's it.
I can see it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I think if he had played the same amount of time that Gretzky played, he'd have Gretzky's records, I would think. Maybe. That's the thing. It's like, well, if he hadn't gotten hurt, but he got hurt. So and I never thought anybody break. I can't believe Ovechkin broke his record.
Incredible.
That and like through work stoppages, like he had a strike, he missed the whole season.
Yep.
And half of another one. It was just like, so the longevity and for Ovechkin, and I'm not an Ovechkin. I don't like Ovechkin. I'm not a fan, but it's like,
really?
No, he's a pussy.
What is it about Ovechkin?
He's chicken shit. He runs people but won't fight. That bugs me. But
but he's the guy. He's supposed to be protected.
Oh no, I get it. But the thing is he takes runs at people. See, that's the thing. Yeah. It was like always this, like, oh, you didn't touch Gretzky or Lemieux. Yeah, but they weren't running people.
Yeah.
Ovechkin runs guys and then doesn't fight. And then it's like, well, he shouldn't have to. He's done a lot of dirt. You can go on YouTube. There's about a 15-minute video of dirty shit Ovechkin's done.
Oh yeah.
And he hasn't answered for any of it. And it's just like I think he's been in I think Gretzky has more fights than Ovechkin has in his career. I think Ovechkin's had 3 and Wayne had 4.
Is that it?
Not saying Wayne landed any punches, but he had 4. He had 4 fighting majors. I don't think he landed 4 punches, but he had 4 fighting majors. And Ovechkin's had 3. And and it was just like, I'm not saying he needs to fight after every hit or anything like that, but he's done a lot of greasy shit and got away with it too. But at the same time, for a guy to be that relentless and that consistent over all these years, and to play a physical game like that, and to hit and to just not get hurt and to play, and that was the thing. Like Gretzky was a candy ass. Like he didn't hit anybody or get hit. He was about $175, and Lemieux was a big dude. And actually, Mario, when he first came up, Mario actually did some fighting and wasn't bad at it. He was pretty good till he ran into a little guy from Washington named Bob Gould. That ended Mario's fighting career because he got his nose broken.
He wasn't gangsta after that.
No, and it's big tree fall hard. Yeah, and it was that ended Mario's fighting career after that. Yeah, but he was but Lemieux at that time, it's like, and I always say if you want to say if they went to a lab and built a hockey player. And if you did like the EA Sports build a player and they did all that shit and they put him out on the ice and said, to me, the closest thing to perfection was Eric Lindros.
Wow.
Because he was so big, he was so fast, mean as fuck, would bury people, and he'd fight heavyweights, and he was really good at it, and he could score.
Yeah.
Problem is concussions and everything shortened his career. But at the end of the day, I mean, because he did shit that, that's the thing. It's like guys that can do this guy's a great scorer. This guy is a great passer. This guy's a great this. But can they do everything?
Yeah.
Lindros could do everything.
And he came up in Philly, right? Like he was with Philly for mad years.
Well, yeah, because he was initially drafted by the Quebec Nordiques, and he said, "Fuck you, I ain't playing for you." So they traded him for 10 guys. And that's how Philly got him. But everybody says that also created the Colorado Avalanche team because they quickly moved to Colorado, became the Avalanche, and it was Forsberg, because he got traded for Forsberg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Shit,
Forsberg.
I thought he got drafted by Philly.
Forsberg got drafted by Philly, Chris Simon, Ricci, all these, and they all got traded for Lindros. So Quebec ended up with Forsberg, Chris Simon, Ron Hextall, all that shit. And then, of course, Colorado won because they traded for Patrick Waugh. They won. They weren't winning shit with Stephane Fassé, I can tell you that. No, they won because they traded for Patrick Waugh.
And they beat my fucking Devils.
Yeah, but your fucking Devils were Scott Stevens is also the one that ended Lindros too. So, and it was tough shot. I love Scott Stevens. He's one of my favorite guys, but that was a heavy shot, man. But him and Lindros had that rivalry. Yeah. They fought a bunch of times before that. They hit each other a bunch of times before that. And Lindros had a habit of sticking his head down. And Stevens is a mean motherfucker, man. And he was just looking for it. And everybody says that ended Lindros. I shouldn't say it. Everybody says that ended Lindros' career. Well, he played 8 more years after that, but he was never kind of the same. No. Yeah. But when he first came up, man, it was like build a player when that guy showed up, because it was like, Well, I can remember when I saw him for the first time here in Saskatoon at the World Juniors. He was playing for Team Canada Junior.
Oh, shit.
Because that was 1990. And that was the thing back then with no internet, and he was an Ontario guy. We'd never seen him. Like, you had read about him. Oh, this phenom, Eric Lindros. You see this guy, 6'5", 240 pounds. He's a killing. Scored 70 goals in the OHL and beating everybody up. Like, you should see this guy. And you'd see him on, like, Sports Desk and stuff like that. You'd see little highlights. But other than that, not really. So then all of a sudden, he made, obviously he made the World Junior team. So they come here in the tournaments here in Saskatoon. And we go see him for the first time. And it was like, he looked like a man playing against little kids. It was just like, holy shit, look at this motherfucker. Just massive. And he's just running guys over and just, dominating. And it was just like, yeah, he was unbelievable. And
yeah, I had a Lindros jersey and caught a lot of heat for it because being New York, Philly don't really like each other.
No.
But he was incredible. Like,
yeah,
he was a tough guy.
Well, that's always why, when I always like the players that I liked, like the Wendell Clarks, the Cam Neelys, Rick Tocchet's, Brendan Shanahan. Those were always the guys I gravitated to because they could do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they could score the winning goal or kick the shit out of you. They could play any way you wanted to play. Like Jerome McGinley, same thing. How do you want to play? You want to go down, the old saying, beat him in the alley? I'll play. I'll fuck with you in the corner if you want, or I'm going to score on the power play and beat you. And if you're not looking, I'll run you over too. And like guys like that were just like mean. Like there was a few guys that I would literally probably say they'd put their mother through the boards to get the puck.
Hey, that winning.
Well, I was going to say that before the generational thing. Like back even when we were playing, I'll be your friend before and after. I'm not your friend during. And I'll go right the fuck through you, to win. And that's how we just did. There was none of this bro hugs and, we got a dap and all that. Like, what the fuck? Like, this whole bro hug code shit, I don't know what this shit is. And, like, that's a big thing with this hockey shit. It's almost like it's Marcus of Queensberry. Like, we got to agree to fight. Then we got to back off and square off. And then, and then after it's done, stop punching when the refs get in. And good fight, brother. And, what the fuck? Like,
it's like, should we hug or kiss or something?
Well, yeah, and then they're in the penalty box and they're buddies, and it's just like, I mean, there. And I'm like, you want to make fighting look stupid? I always used to say that. How can I defend fighting when I got Georges Laraque? They got him mic'd up, and he's telling the guy before the fight, "Good luck." Then you sound like an idiot. Like who?
Yeah.
You think Bob Probert ever told anybody good luck before they fought? Like. And afterwards, like, we got to work out in the summer, bro. Like, you think these guys? No, it was like, it was a great story. I know we're going really long here, and I'm yapping at you. Terry O'Reilly, famous Boston Bruin guy. Terry Taz, crazy Taz, right? The guy that went into the stands at MSG and all that shit, and crazy Happy Gilmore's favorite player, right? Terry O'Reilly, the Boston Bruins. Well, and Don Cherry was his coach at the time. Don Cherry was telling the story years later. He goes, they were fighting. Terry O'Reilly got into a fight and he cracked this guy. The guy fucking went down. I don't know, hit his head, or he was fucked up anyway. They got the guy up and they got him to the dressing room, the guy he was fighting. And, and the rink's all hushed and whatever. And afterwards, after they get, the trainer went down and the trainer comes back and tells Terry, the guy, he's okay. He's up and whatever. So the guy goes over to Terry after he comes out of the penalty box. He goes, "Oh, yeah, no, the guy he just fought, yeah, he's going to be okay." And Terry O'Reilly just looked at him and goes, "What the fuck do I care for?"
It's a fight, right? We don't like each other.
Well, yeah, and it was just, but it's like you say that now, and people just like, "What is this guy, serial killer?" Like, that's just cold shit. But I mean, I'm sure after the game, he wasn't wishing, I really wish I'd killed him. Like, well, no, but it's like at the time, it's like, hey, he's trying to do that to me.
See, he's
trying to knock me out. So
that's
I just beat him to it.
It's what I tell my son all the time. Like when me and my boy Dave, when we were on other teams, there was no love lost there. Like I can tell you how many times that he's thrown me into walls. Like I'm jumping up trying to score, and he just grabbed me, and they're like flagrant, and he's like, "Okay, right?"
Yep.
Like this is my boy, who I consider my uncle of my children, right? Like, and we've had more arguments and almost fights in games than people I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you say, we could be cool before or after. In this game,
never during.
If you're not wearing the same jersey as me, we're not cool.
No, and I think that's really lost in this generation. And it's like I said, especially when you get pro sports, I don't know, half the time they're all union brothers, and half these guys play on every team in the league. They're all friends. They all work out in the summer together and all this shit. So I think a lot of that's lost too. But and again, maybe that's a good thing. And I'm just 50 years old and bitter and whatever, yelling at clouds. But I don't know. Well, I said all these hockey games and everything else. I said, what's been the most famous game in the last 5 years? That Four Nations Cup with the 3 fights right off the face-off. What was the score? Well, what was the score? I don't know. You remember them 3 fucking fights though.
Yeah,
So,
I remember because it was the Kachuk brothers and someone else. Can't remember, but it was a brawl. Right
but everybody remembers that shit, right? They remember the violence. That's what they remember, and it's like, so yeah, you remember, because it's not just violent. Like I said with hockey, the biggest thing with hockey, people want emotion. In any sport, people want emotion. Like I said, you don't have to have a line brawl, or you don't have to have 8 fights, or swing your sticks at fans. I'm not saying that, but play with some fucking emotion, like you're actually mad at them. You watch a lot of these NHL games now. Fuck, it's like you could hear a mouse piss on cotton. Like there ain't nobody hitting. There's nobody hitting anybody. No one gets mad at anybody. If there's a little scrum, they all just look down at their laces. Like no one's mad. It's like I said, they don't even fight mad anymore. So it's just like.
And now, like, if say me and you were on a team, and somebody fucking hits you or fouls you, whatever sport you want to insert into it, you'll see that they'll fuck you up, and the other team, your teammates, me and everybody else, will be like, "What happened to defending our brothers?" Right? Like,
no, it's crazy, and it's just like, I don't know, and it's just different now. Oh, and that's the thing. And now, if they're actually get mad, they're gonna have a fight. Though the linesmen break it up like they're teachers on a playground breaking up a schoolyard fight. They're half the time these refs get so excited they're gonna grab one guy. And I'm like, you're gonna get someone hurt, first of all, but second, it's like, they were gonna fight, but we broke it up. Listen, you got 18,000 people booing your product right now.
Yep.
So how is this a good thing? These paying customers are booing your product. But boy, I said you had 2 guys. It wasn't like somebody jumped somebody. They were willing combatants, agreed upon combat. Then back the fuck off and let them fight. These are grown adults that are getting paid to do this. Let them do it. The fans want to see it. The players want to see it. They want to do it. Well, maybe some of them don't want to do it, but they're, right, well, I got to do it. But it's like, you got, like I said, you got these guys and they break it up and they think it's great. And it's like, oh, they solved that. That's good. Oh, yeah. I don't know how people, and I've said this about hockey, and hockey especially, but I've never seen a sport that gets in its own way like hockey does. These fuckers couldn't sell fucking water in the desert. Like they have no clue how to market this. They have gone so far the other way that they've neutered it. And it's just like, and again, I'm not saying it's got to be Thunderdome like it was in the 80s, but a little bit of something would be nice, a little bit of passion. But
see, the way you feel about hockey right there is how I feel about basketball. I feel that it's the softest thing I've ever seen. I can't watch it.
We need more Bill Lambiers and Rick Mahorns out there.
Oh, dude.
And Charles Oakley's,
See, and that's what I tell people. Like, people have no idea the Xavier McDaniels, the Karl Malones. Like, even Malone was like, but Lambier, who was it? We're always going off. This is the last thing. I don't remember who the dunker was. It wasn't Mike. It might have been Dominique, I think it was. He had dunked on Bill Lambier. And Bill Lambier said, "That's your one."
Yeah.
And Dominique was like, "Man, fuck this guy." You know what happened? I came up, I ran through the lane, and he hit me with a forearm in my chest. And he said, "I told you, that's your one. I got 5 more of these."
Yeah.
Like
that exactly. and that was the thing. It was accepted back then.
Yeah.
Now, if you could do it now. But he'd be kicked out. He's suspended for this, and that's the thing. Well, and then in hockey, that was always the big thing back in the day. The game policed itself. You need the fucking refs. You didn't know. Well, he'll get suspended. No, you didn't. The players took care of that shit. You could that was the thing. Everybody, you didn't hit Gretzky. There was an unwritten rule. Well, no, the unwritten rule was Dave Semenko and Marty McSorley. You could go do it. See what fucking happens to you though.
Yep.
And it's a perfect story. We'll end on this. But yeah, you could hit Gretzky. Do it. Find out what's going to happen to you. Because now you're going to have to pay the price. And it was one thing, you knock him down on the boards and knock, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, if you went out of your way and took a run at him, because that's everyone's meal ticket. So we go how Wayne goes. So you ain't touching our meal ticket. So Semenko would go over to the bench and be like, "Are we going to play like this all night? How are we going to do this?" Like, and then everybody, either that would be the end of it, or some guy be like, "Yeah, okay." So as soon as next shift out, you and I are fighting then. But so either you fought Semenko, But if you pulled the, I'm not fighting. Okay. Semenko goes, well, one of your teammates is going to pay for that now. And he would grab some poor motherfucker that had nothing to do with it, and he'd bust the shit out of him. And he'd skate by the bench and say, that beating is on you. It's your fault that he got the shit kicked out of him. And like Kelly Chase tells that story, grabbed Benoit Hogue and said, I was trying, Darian Hatcher's been running around, but Hatcher won't fight me. So sorry, Benoit. And he ended up breaking Benoit Hogue's jaw.
Damn.
And he went by Hatcher and said, that's on you, big man. Because you could have fought me and this could have been solved. But you wanted to run around and play fuck around. We'll fuck around then. Because that's the thing. Trying to chasing this guy around that's never going to fight you isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go grab one of your teammates because now Darian Hatcher's got to go into the locker room and sit there with Benoit Hogue with his jaw wired shut and he's drinking shakes in the plane on the way home. You're kind of feeling like an asshole right now. Guess what happened the next time they played? Darian Hatcher fought Kelly Chase on his first shift. Problem solved. Now it's done. Now we can get back to playing hockey. The fuck around is over. But you needed shit, like you needed to calm shit down. And if it's starting to get stupid and they don't want to answer the bell, okay, well, someone on your team's going to pay for it. And and then you can answer to him in the locker room. And that's how it got solved back then. But they don't do that shit anymore. And that's why, well, that's how many concussions has Crosby had? Well, that's lots. And I mean, that's why your star, you watch McDavid, he gets run all the time playing the Oilers. That Bedard kid in Chicago, he gets messed with all the time because he can't police the game anymore. And, and that's, you're getting your stars hurt. That's the rules that's the atmosphere they've created. And that's the rules now. So, but anyway, there we go. Chef, we went a little longer than a half an hour.
Your fish I've ever had in my life.
People listening to it feel twice as long.
You know what? This was freaking awesome. Fourth Line Voice, Friday Night Fights, Bruised and Battered, man. I love what they do. It's official like a referee with a whistle. For myself, this man, we out of here. Deuces.